During a group trip to the mountains, my girlfriend took a long walk alone every morning. I got curious and followed her trail. She wasn't alone, she was sharing a thermos with a guy from another cabin. I didn't confront her. I just let everyone know breakfast was at our cabin the next day and made sure he was invited. I, 34 male, never thought I'd be the kind of guy to post something like this. I've been reading these stories for years, shaking my head, thinking, that sucks, man, or you should have known. And now here I am. Because you don't really see it coming until you're in it. My girlfriend, Hannah, 32 female, and I had been together for a while. A little over 3 years. We lived together in Raleigh, North Carolina. Nothing fancy. She was a nurse, I worked in IT support. Steady jobs, small apartment, same couch we bought off Facebook Marketplace 3 years ago. We weren't dramatic. We weren't perfect either. But I thought we were solid. Back in February, a group of us planned a cabin trip to the mountains. The Blue Ridge Range. Cold air, fire pits, beer, and time away from work. There were 12 of us, 6 couples, spread across 4 cabins, all in a row like little log houses. Each couple had their own cabin, which was nice. There were some old friends, some newer ones. Hannah knew everyone but 2 people. One guy named Drew who came with his girlfriend Jess. They were from Charlotte. Seemed cool enough. Quiet. Kept to themselves. First morning there, I woke up around 7 and Hannah was gone. I didn't think much of it. She's a morning person. I'm not. She gets up early. Likes the quiet. Always says it centers her. She came back around 8:30. Cold nose, cheeks pink, sipping something from her silver thermos. Said she went walking, clearing her head, breathing fresh air. Seemed normal. Second morning, same thing. Gone when I woke up. Thermos in hand. I asked what she was drinking. She said green tea. I asked if she wanted breakfast. She wasn't hungry. Third morning, I don't know why, but I got up before her. It was still dark out. I lay there pretending to be asleep when she quietly slipped out of bed. I watched her get dressed by the soft light of her phone. She tiptoed around like I was fragile glass. I felt weird watching her, like I was spying, but I didn't move. She left around 6:15. I waited about 10 minutes, got dressed quickly, and followed. I didn't even grab a coat. Just a hoodie and boots. I didn't want her to hear me coming. I saw her boot prints in the snow and followed them down a trail behind the cabins. There was a lot of open land behind the woods. Snow-covered trails, all quiet. The only sound was my own breath. About half a mile in, I saw her. She was waiting near a cluster of trees, sitting on a log. I almost stopped walking. My heart started thumping like I'd sprinted there. Then he showed up. It was Drew. Jess's boyfriend. Green beanie. Same jacket he wore the night before around the fire. He didn't say much. Just walked up, smiled, and handed her the thermos. She took it. Sipped from it. Handed it back. Then they sat there together, shoulder to shoulder. He leaned in and said something that made her laugh. She leaned into him. Not full-on cuddling, but enough. Too much. They sat like that for maybe 10 minutes. Just talking. Sharing the thermos. Smiling. She touched his arm. He touched her knee. I turned and walked back before I saw anything more. My hands were cold, but my chest felt hot. Angry hot. Sick hot. Like I was going to throw up. I didn't say anything. Not to her. Not when she got back. Not that night. I acted normal. Laughed with everyone around the bonfire. Poured her wine. Pretended everything was fine. But the whole time I was planning. Right before we all split up for bed, I said it loud enough for everyone to hear, "Hey, what if we do breakfast tomorrow at our cabin? I'll cook. We've got room." Everyone liked the idea, especially since it meant they didn't have to make food. I said 8:30 sharp. Pancakes, bacon, eggs, all of it. Then, as we all walked back, I made a detour and knocked on Drew's cabin. He answered in a hoodie. Looked surprised to see me. "Hey, just wanted to say, doing breakfast tomorrow at our place. Come by, man. You and Jess too." He nodded slowly. Sure. Yeah, cool. Thanks." I smiled. "Yeah, man. See you then." Next morning I was up early. Real early. Cooking like a maniac. Pancakes from scratch, not the mix. Bacon sizzling. Coffee brewed. Orange juice. Fruit. I made sure the place smelled amazing. Hannah walked out of the bedroom still in her pajamas. Surprised. "You're making all that?" I nodded. "Yeah. Thought it'd be fun." She looked confused. maybe even a little suspicious, but she didn't say anything. By 8:30, everyone started rolling in, laughing, still tired, thanking me for the spread. I kept it casual, kept pouring coffee like nothing was wrong. Then Drew walked in. Hannah saw him before I did. She was talking to Jess when she caught sight of him and went dead quiet. Her back straightened like someone had pulled a string through her spine. He walked in slowly, nodded at me, took a plate, didn't say much. And Hannah? She looked like someone had just hit her in the chest with a shovel. I watched her the whole time. She didn't eat. She barely touched her coffee. She never spoke to Drew. He didn't speak to her either. They avoided eye contact like it was poison. At one point I leaned over while refilling her juice and said, low and calm, "Hope you enjoyed your walk this morning." She froze. Just froze. Someone at the table spilled syrup and everyone looked that way. She used that moment to excuse herself and step outside. I didn't follow. Later, she asked me if we could talk. We took a walk behind the cabins. "You saw us," she said, not even trying to play dumb. "I did. It wasn't what it looked like," she said instantly. "I just needed space. You held his hand. You leaned on him. You drank from the same thermos." She didn't deny it. Just said I never slept with him. "But you would've." That shut her up. I stared at her for a while. I didn't yell. I didn't even raise my voice. I just said, "We're done here." She tried to explain more. I didn't let her. I packed my stuff and went to crash at Ryan's cabin. Told him we had a fight. He didn't ask questions. That's what friends do. She stayed in our cabin alone the last 2 nights. When we got back to Raleigh, she asked if we could talk. I told her I needed time. What I didn't say was that I already had a plan. And if she thought breakfast was awkward, she hadn't seen anything yet. After the trip, we didn't talk much. I stayed with my brother for a few days. Told him the truth. He was pissed on my behalf, offered to go punch Drew in the face. I told him that wasn't the plan. See, I didn't want to just end things with Hannah. I wanted her to feel it. I wasn't going to yell or break things or blow up her phone. I wasn't going to give her some dramatic, satisfying fight. I was going to give her silence, distance, and then I was going to show her exactly what she threw away. When I finally came back to the apartment, she looked like she hadn't slept. She started crying as soon as she saw me. "I'm sorry," she said. "I didn't cheat. I didn't cross the line. You leaned into another man for comfort," I said, dropping my bag by the door. "That's enough." "I was lonely," she said. "You've been distant for months. Ever since you lost that job. That hit different." "I lost my job, not my loyalty." She didn't have a reply for that. We didn't fight. We didn't scream. She asked if I was leaving. I told her I needed a few days to think. I didn't really. I'd already made up my mind. But I wasn't going to just walk away and let her save face. So I started small. The next time we were invited to a mutual friend's birthday party, I went alone. When people asked where Hannah was, I just shrugged. Let them draw their own conclusions. Then I made sure Jess found out. She was cool. Not exactly my friend, but we gotten along. So I sent her a text. "Hey, just wanted to give you a heads up. Saw something on the trip that I think you should know. Might be nothing. Might not be." She called me immediately. I told her everything. Not with emotion. Just facts. Quiet and calm. There was silence on the other end of the line. Then she just said thanks. A week later, Drew and Jess were done. And here's where things took a turn. Because Drew, now single, apparently bitter, started texting Hannah. I only found out because she told me, weirdly enough. "He's texting me now," she said one morning. "Says he's sorry. Says he didn't mean to cause trouble." I stared at her for a long moment. "And what do you say?" "I'm not answering." "Why not block him?" "I don't know," she whispered. That told me everything. I didn't say a word. Just picked up my bag and left. Again. That's when she finally realized this wasn't a fight. This wasn't me blowing off steam. This was me leaving. But it wasn't over. Not yet. Because she started trying to win me back. She left notes. Voicemails. She begged me to come talk. She showed up at my brother's house. Said she was confused. That she didn't know why she'd done what she did. That she still loved me. And maybe all of that was true. But none of it mattered. Because every time I closed my eyes, I saw her with him. Sharing that thermos. Laughing. Leaning her head on his shoulder like it belonged there. That was never mine to fix. And I still had one more move left. So I didn't block her. I let her keep texting, calling, leaving voicemails that got more desperate as the days passed. She kept saying, "It wasn't an affair," like that was supposed to matter. Like crossing the line emotionally was nothing because their pants stayed zipped. But I didn't argue. I didn't reply. Instead, I started talking. Not to her. To our friends. I didn't tell them the whole story right away. Just said we were taking space. Said things happened during the trip I wasn't ready to talk about yet. It wasn't a lie. It wasn't gossip either. I just planted seeds. And the thing about friend groups? People start asking questions. Especially when someone starts getting iced out. By the time we hit March, a few people had already started pulling away from Hannah. I heard from one of the guys in our circle that she stopped coming to group hangs altogether. Said she felt judged. But I wasn't done. About 2 months after the cabin trip, my company hired me back. Same position, better pay. I got a fresh haircut. Got back to the gym. I started seeing someone new, not serious, but steady enough. Her name was Ray. She was quiet, thoughtful, didn't pry into my past too much, which I liked. I didn't post her online. I didn't do the whole look at what you missed thing. But I did start showing up to things again. With her. Hannah saw us once. It was at a brewery downtown. One of our mutual friends' birthday parties. I wasn't planning on going, but Ray said she'd come with me if I wanted to see people again. We walked in and there she was, Hannah, standing by the bar, alone, holding a cider and looking like she hadn't slept in a week. She saw us. I watched her expression shift in slow motion, shock, panic, pain. She turned away fast, but not before I caught the tears building in her eyes. I didn't approach her. I wasn't going to humiliate her in front of a room full of people. That wasn't the point. But Ray noticed. She asked me on the way home, "Is that the ex?" "Yeah," I said. She looked like she'd seen a ghost. She saw her consequences, I told her. Things with Ray stayed steady. Nothing crazy, just easy. But I knew I wasn't healed yet. Not all the way. I could pretend, but the wound was still there. That's when I got the message from Jess. She'd stayed quiet since the breakup with Drew. But out of nowhere, she messaged me on Instagram. "You were right," she wrote. "I didn't want to believe it back then. But I've learned he's done this before." I asked what she meant. Turns out Drew had a pattern. 3 exes. All said he played the same game. Getting close to women in relationships, pretending to be a good listener. Then sliding in when things got shaky. She told me something else, too. He reached out to Hannah again. Asked to meet up. I don't know if she went. I didn't answer right away. But it hit me harder than I expected. Because I had convinced myself she was weak. Not a liar. That she'd made a mistake but learned from it. That she knew better now. But if she was still talking to him, she hadn't learned anything. So I checked her Instagram. Still private. Still had photos of us up. And I noticed something else. She'd started posting photos again. Just selfies. But one had her in that green beanie. The one Drew always wore. The same exact one. My stomach dropped. I wasn't mad. I wasn't sad. I just felt cold. She picked him. Even after all this. And that's when I decided the next move wouldn't be silence. It would be truth. After I saw that photo of her in Drew's beanie, something in me snapped. I wasn't angry like before. I wasn't sad either. I just felt tired. Tired of pretending this didn't hurt. Tired of protecting her. Tired of carrying the truth like it was some shameful secret. So I told the story. Not to gossip. Not to get sympathy. I just laid it out straight and plain in a group message with the people who had been on the trip. The same people who had once called her a sister. The same people she laughed with around the fire. I told them what happened on the trail. How I followed her. How I saw her with Drew. How she came back and looked me in the eye and lied like nothing had happened. How I invited him to breakfast on purpose just to watch her squirm. And then I ended it with one line. She told me she needed space. She found it in another man's arms. Then she chose him. That message lit a fire. The responses rolled in fast. People were shocked. Some were furious. A couple didn't reply at all. But the energy changed overnight. Suddenly she wasn't the sweet, misunderstood girl who needed time to heal. She was the one who crossed a line and lied about it. I didn't expect people to pick sides. But they did. 3 of our closest friends cut her off. One even posted something vague on their story that said, "Don't fake loyalty. People are watching even when you think they aren't." She texted me that night. "You really told everyone?" I didn't answer. Then she called. I let it ring. Finally, she left a voicemail. You humiliated me. I didn't cheat. I made a mistake. And you've ruined everything because your ego got bruised. That last part? That was her real voice. That wasn't guilt. That was anger. She didn't care that she hurt me. She cared that people knew. A few days later, I saw her one last time. She showed up at the coffee shop where Ray and I were grabbing breakfast. She didn't even hesitate. Walked right over to our table. Can we talk? She asked, eyes glassy, voice shaky. Ray looked at me. I nodded. Ray got up, gave us space. I looked her dead in the eye and said nothing. She sat across from me. Hands trembling. No makeup. Looked like she hadn't slept again. I didn't sleep with him, she said, like that was her whole defense. I never said you did. I was lonely. I felt ignored. I made a connection with someone. It wasn't about hurting you. You didn't just lie, I said. You built a routine with him. You shared quiet mornings. Shared your thoughts. Shared a damn thermos like it was some secret love language. She looked down. I was hurting, she whispered. So you decided to hurt me too, I said. And now you're mad people know. She didn't say anything. You wanted me to stay quiet. Pretend it didn't happen. Move on while you got to rewrite the story. She looked at me, eyes wet. I loved you, she said. No, I said, standing up. You loved the version of me that didn't make you feel guilty. Then I walked out. Got in the car with Ray. Drove off without looking back. It's been 4 months since then. Just moved to Florida. Said she needed space from the whole scene. Drew? Word is he's already working his charm on someone new. Hannah deleted her social media for a while. I heard she's seeing someone again. Not Drew, thank God. But not alone either. Some people never are. As for me, I still think about it sometimes. Not because I miss her, but because I learned something I wish I didn't have to learn the hard way. Not all betrayals are loud. Some are quiet. Quiet like a snowy morning walk. Quiet like shared tea between two people who think no one's watching. But someone always is. And when the silence breaks, you better be ready for the echo.